Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another fantastic episode of our Sips and Dips series featuring the lovely, the talented, the very intelligent Dr. Susanna Hoffman. Before we bring Susanna on, let me introduce my co-host, Fotios Stamos. How are you, Foti?
I'm doing very well, and even better now that we're going to have our sips and dips clips with our resident. I like to say, if I could, without imposing, our resident chef here at Greek Wine Club, Urban Wine Club, Dr. Susanna Hoffman.
Let's do it. Let's do it. She's a resident, just like a DJ. She's the resident
Right.
chef, the resident.
But
We were discussing this before. The resident smart person in the room
right,
because she listens to us talk and she decides, yeah, I'm the resident smart person. I think.
right. But let's be serious for 1 second. Not only are what we're going to do as far as have Susanna teach us how to make interesting, fun, and tasty dips, but we're going to learn a lot other than the actual dish itself.
Well, that's the great thing about these clips for me personally is that we always get some really cool information. We always get like, I kind of take it like if I go on Jeopardy after these clips, I feel like I could be the winner because we get so many cool bits of information, so much background, history, and that's what fascinates me, and that's why I love these clips so much.
And on top of it, I think it also brings a better and bigger appreciation for the dish. I think it tastes better when you know more about it. What do you
Absolutely.
think? Excellent. So, without wasting any more time, let's bring on Dr. Susanna Hoffman.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you
Yep.
so much for joining us. We have another fun recipe that we're gonna be exposed to and experience with you. It's that time of year where we like to bring out seasonal ingredients,
Mhm.
and the ingredients for this particular one is Susanna.
Well, beets are the main thing, and then and actually every ingredient in this particular thing is ancient.
Ancient.
So if we're doing a season, it's the ancient season. We originally talked about this dip because it would work for Lent, for Greek Lent, but we couldn't get it together with crazy busy lives and things that were happening to us, and everybody's had a rough time this last year.
Mhm.
We're going to go ahead with it anyway because one of the main ingredients is beets, and beets are in season, and not very many vegetables are in season yet. So that makes us be able to exploit what we can get. I've added a little bit of mint and I've added a little bit of chives to at least my decorations. And they're coming up in my garden. The rest of the herbs are kind of like being lazy so far.
Hmm.
I'm not going to allow that for long. And where's my regami? And again, it's a dip that's Greek, but I made it up.
That's okay.
That's perfect. Actually, I love made up stuff.
Because the last one, if you remember, I did my mint and parsley with ancient currants, little tiny grapes that I'd soaked in Retsina. And that's one of my favorites. But this is one of my favorites too. And all the ingredients are, as I said, are ancient. And it's kind of a combination of hummus and a scordalia
Mm.
with beet added, which of course gives it an incredible color. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done.
Sure.
Wherever I put it.
Oh, I love the. I just love the whole sound of it.
Where did I put it?
All the ingredients. Oh, look at that.
That spill on my computer. Back up. There's now olive oil on my mouse pad,
Oh,
but it's good. So you want to talk about the ingredients or do you want
Yes.
me to
Yeah,
put them together or both?
let's talk about the ingredients real quickly.
Foti what?
So yeah, we'll definitely talk about the ingredients, which we mentioned. The basis are the beets.
Mm-hmm.
We're adding chickpeas.
Yep.
um, the garlic, which is an important base of this dish, right? I mean,
Do something Greek without garlic.
that's what I said. It's a part of our culture that, without it just doesn't taste Greek to me.
Mhm.
I still claim it's the sound of grease. Plink, plink, plink of people peeling garlic
Oh yeah,
and dropping them in tin bowls.
you just
I
painted
love it.
it right there. But yeah, but all these ingredients, flavor and textures, that's what I think is to me what really brings out this particular recipe. The textures and the flavors between the beets, the chickpeas. Some dips
Almond.
have different, smoother textures, but I think that this one presents a really interesting one.
Yeah, and it comes out nubbly. I've got it on my finger now. It's not like a total puree because the garlic and the almonds don't puree that well. I mean, you can get the beet to do it. And of course, the medium that makes it all work is olive oil.
Right.
Um, and there's a little bit of red wine vinegar, which is also very ancient. And there's sea salt. So it's actually, you could actually talk about the battles of each of these ingredients,
Cool.
like Salamis and the salt. you know. But certainly you could talk about the Persian Wars because they're the ones who brought almonds to Greece.
Mm.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, the original almond trees came from what is currently called Iran, which was Persia.
Mhm.
Although wild ones have been found in Armenia as well. But you have to remember what people don't often realize is these people all spoke the same, very similar languages. They were very early wandering groups of Indo-Europeans who'd come down from the Ural Mountains, the west side of the Urals at about the Caspian, in small herding groups. And so the first people down there, like the Phrygians and the Hittites were the earliest, but the ones who became the Aryans and Bactrians, like Bactrian camels, and the Greeks, the early groups of Greeks, and then didn't come all together. They came in small bands. So when Herodotus went around and talked to the Scythians, who were latter day Persians, or the wars between the Persians and the Greeks, these people could understand each other.
Mm.
Ah, interesting.
They all spoke, and they still do speak an Indo-European, and it's basically, you could call it the South Indo-European branch, except um, actually relating each one to the other is a little difficult, but we do know that they came down and settled in various at about the same time.
Susanna,
And
can I ask you a quick question? Did you say Aryans?
yeah, Aryan,
As in the Aryans that like the white Anglo-Saxon Aryan?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Indo-Europeans were white, were fair, Caucasian, blonde, blue eyes, and that's the way the early Greeks are, and a lot of Greeks today. In the village that I live in Santorini, almost everybody's a blonde and blue-eyed.
Oh,
My
really?
goddaughter's very blonde. So when we think of Greeks as being dark, or even the Italians, or even the Spanish, that's much later. And it had to do with mixing of populations and demographic shifts, as happen all the time in the world. One of my points whenever I'm teaching this kind of stuff is to say to people that nothing belongs to anybody. People have always taken over each other's land from the very get-go, and we make much more of a big hue and cry and stew about it now, but it is the history of humankind.
Yeah, we might need to announce that to lots of people in this country who seem to not understand exactly how it works.
Yeah. Well, the Indo-Europeans themselves conquered people who were already living in Greece. And they talk about the people who were already living there. And we know a lot about the remnants of some. The Minoans were not Indo-Europeans, but the Mycenaeans were. And they are some of the early groups that came down. But we still have stuff from the Minoans, like olive oil. They're the ones who did olive oil.
Mm.
And and the early Greeks, of course, they didn't call themselves Greek. That's a Roman name for one particular branch of Greek speakers that the Romans ran into early, the Greca. But the Greeks never called themselves that. They called themselves, as you know, Hellenists, which as far as we can tell means the people of the light, because they came from the north.
Mm.
Wow, this is so cool.
The light.
Of the light, and they came with a sun god and a male god, which the people who were already living there, the Minoans, did not worship.
Mm.
I mean, the sun was much more important to these people. I guess they didn't have it as often. They were cattle herders, and they came in these roving little bands, you would call them, not even clans or tribes. But they spoke the same language or similar languages enough, and they conquered bit by bit. And we have stories of their conquering, like the labyrinth in Crete, and is it Theseus who rides on the bull? That's a story of the fact that they were enslaved at first by the Minoans, who were taking tribute, and then the Minoans disappear when the volcano of Santorini erupts.
Man, it's funny because some of the things I've known, some of the things are new to me. So thank you for the new stuff. But just the way you describe it, which is why I love Greek history so much, and why I love when you come on and tell us, it's like I picture it in my head, and it's like this exciting action movie of what's going on. I know these things happen over long periods of time, but Greek history is just amazing. I love it so much.
I've gotten stuck lately. There's a series of books now from a couple of different writers on the lives of the women of the Trojan War, which Homer practically never talks about. So these current writers are putting themselves in the heads of the women, like Clytemnestra and Andromache and Penelope, and they're nice novels.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm so interested in reading everything I can because, like I said, it just fascinates me. I love it so much. All right, so we're gonna get into the dip.
Absolutely.
To get into the dip, I'm gonna get into it with a chip right now.
Perfect. The sip, dip, and the chip.
I have gotten pita, commercial pita chips, and then I made some out of pita by myself.
There you go.
There you go.
Real deal.
So let me tell you about the dip. Starting from the olive oil, because I think it's really important. Let's see, Ron, now maybe you can help me.
Get him on the payroll.
This is my real kitchen. In New York, it's about the size of a closet, but here I've got all kinds of stuff.
Just so the audience knows, Susanna is currently in Colorado.
Where is the olive oil?
Just so they know.
Behind you.
And at some point, you got to give us a shot of that view as well, because that view is amazing.
Okay, we will do that. You want the can of olive oil?
No, I thought I poured out 3/4 cup of it, but I guess I didn't.
Oh, you put that in your wine glass and drank it.
Oh, that's what I was.
Oh, Steve Percy, I'll take you on a tour here.
Yeah, look at that view. Oh my gosh.
So how often do you get visited by bears?
Every day, every they make their garbage run.
Oh
What's
man.
this?
Bears. And so
they're dumpster divers.
so you have to have your garbage cans secured and bolted and really bolted. The tops are bolted in place.
That's so funny.
I
I
would
mean,
never
not
leave the house.
funny if you're face to face with one, but funny when you say it.
There's
No.
nothing to be afraid of.
No, they don't bother you as long as they don't have babies that you get between.
Did you happen to see that viral video about the girl who her dogs were attacked by a bear and she went and knocked it off the fence?
No.
If you haven't seen it, it's funny. It's a great video. She's trying to protect her dogs and she knocks a bear right off a
Oh
fence.
yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not afraid of them here. You just stop and stand still. What worries me sometimes is the tourist, because they begin to follow them.
Ah,
Not smart, so you have to yell at them to stand still. And the other thing you do if you're really worried is you just stretch yourself out and you look big. Because
that's what I do when Foti bothers me sometimes. I stretch myself out and I shoo him away.
All right, this dip is really easy. I mean, it's 4, 5, 6 maybe ingredients. You throw the whole thing into a Cuisinart. I'm going to start with this is an old-fashioned Cuisinart because they have the best motors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how's the focus? Is this okay?
Yeah.
All right.
This is my nice Greek olive oil I get from Terametti, and Cody has great olive oil too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So straight from Greece, this one's from the Kalamata district. Great stuff.
And for those that are paying attention to this, we're going to do a segment pretty soon on olive oils with Susanna.
Oh, excellent.
So that's 3/4 cup of olive oil. I take 1.5 beets, or one big one that I've cut into pieces. Now, here's the trick with beets. Some people try to peel them before they cook them. Not a good idea. Cook them, then peel them. So we're at high altitude, and I know it's high. It's silly, but water doesn't boil here. It bubbles, but it doesn't get up to 212. So a beet that would take you, 35 minutes at your altitude, it's going to take me an hour. And I'm going to put it 2 small ones because I didn't do a large one. I'm using global knives, which I keep really sharp. I like the globals and their feel. But basically the equivalent of what would be 1 large beet that I've cooked and I've peeled. After you cook them and they're completely soft, you just run them under water, sort of like this, like running water. Mm-hmm. Rub your thumbs on them and the peel comes right off, just like that. So, and I guess you can buy them cooked now. I don't do that kind of thing. So anyhow, so it's 1 large beet. It is a 1/4 cup of slivered blanched almonds.
Okay.
Now, almonds come from, as I mentioned, Iran originally, and some wild versions are in Armenia. The Greeks had them very, very early, and as you probably know, it's in tons and tons of Greek food. Besides koralbievis, there's a Greek soda pop that's almond flavored. Almonds decorate koleva. Almonds, and how much you guys can think of some of the almonds are in everything.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. I thought Greeks invented almonds.
They invented it. Now, almonds are not a fruit, are not a nut. Almonds are a group very closely related to peaches and apricots, and plums and other stone fruit. That's what the group means. So they have a little fleshy outside, which is like a peach outside, and inside they've got a double layered seed, and it's the inner part of that seed that we're eating. We're just eating a seed. They're a fruit. They're not a nut.
Interesting. So we're eating a seed and not a nut.
I'm a nut.
She's not going in there. The almond is.
I didn't mention beets, but almonds go back about to 4000 BC, maybe even earlier. We found them as early as 9000 BC in certain sites. So they were already being picked and plucked for their seed really early.
Wow.
Beets were probably at least 6,000 years have been eaten. But you have to remember that when these groups first came, and they're even more ancient, because people up until about 30,000 years ago were hunters and gatherers, and gathering continued. In fact, even when I live in Greece, we still in the village go out and gather our greens. So beets were originally sought after for their greens, which we still eat. Chard is
Yeah.
beet.
Mm.
And it was only a little later that people began to eat the tap root of the beet, which I threw one away, and the bulb on the tap root.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
And it's very sweet. There's a lot of sugar in it. They're very healthy, and anything with this much color has a lot of beta carotene.
Ah.
So it's a better than carrots. So they were gathered and they were grown and they were eaten way back in ancient times, as early as the very first wandering Greeks came in. And chickpeas are even earlier. They're talked about by the ancient Egyptians. They're mentioned by Hammurabi and some of the early tablets. They're a lentil, and they come from all around the Mediterranean. And the reason, and the name in Greek is, as you know, is radikia, which is the same word as garbanzo. If you know linguistics, the B and the B are the same. The TH and the Z are the same, just a different movement in your mouth. So it's the same word that's come with them.
Wow.
The idea of chickpeas, the name chickpeas, comes from the Latin. And here's the funny story about that. I don't have an uncooked one. They became known as chickpeas because they look like the face of Cicero.
Really?
They were called the face of Cicero peas. He was the elder statesman who actually basically started the Roman Empire, the Roman Republic, and so he was also the shall we say, the butt of jokes. So instead of calling the Cicero's lower parts, they called it Cicero's face, and from that it went through the French chic pea, and it got into the English as chickpeas. But that's where that comes from, which I think is a wonderful story.
I love it. Love it.
I'm putting in a cup of them. Now, I bought these cooked and organic, and I'll tell you why. I'm at 9,000 feet, and so usually I cook them myself from the dry, but not here. I mean, I made gigantes the other day, giant beans, which they're supposed to take about 2 hours. I soaked them overnight. It took 7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So
you not only have to know how to cook under normal circumstances, you have to know how to cook in high altitudes.
Yes, absolutely. Which is why I don't do bread.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. Although flatbreads like pitas are great. Actually, they figured bread out now, and they can make, a lot of people do it really well, but I don't bother, unless I'm making a soda bread or a flatbread. Anyhow, I'm putting 1 cup of Cicero. Maybe I'll get wise. And then, of course, there is the essential Greek ingredient.
The best.
The best. Now, I peeled several of these, but I wanted to show you a trick. Otherwise, in case you don't know it, I'm just throwing them in. I'm doing about 6 cloves, but that's up to you. Here, if my cameraman can follow me. If you don't need your garlic beautiful anyway, it's going to get chopped up. There's no need to peel it carefully. You take the flat of your knife, you have to be really careful, and you put it over the clove, and you smash it, and out comes the garlic.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
So saves you a lot of trouble.
Yeah, because it's generally pretty sticky, pretty messy. So yeah, look at how easy that was.
Yeah, it's really easy. But I said, if you want them beautifully shaped, like when I make a scordo stumbi, the beef 100 cloves of garlic stew.
Oh my gosh.
That's intense.
It's intense. You want me to make that on TV?
Yes. While we're there, so we could eat it.
I actually use the whole 100. I do. It's a beef stew. Anyhow, I put 6 of these guys in here. Sea salt, which of course the Greeks fought over many times, and they also paid people with. to earn salt. Earn your salt is a real thing.
Okay.
This is tiny bit. I don't oversalt. This is just 3/8 of a teaspoon. And 1 1/2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. I don't use balsamic. Greeks are now making balsamic. They're making 2 kinds of native fruits, fig balsamic, a regular balsamic, just on plain, then fig, and then pomegranate. But it's not in their culture, it's learned. Basically, what you did with old wine was you made vinegar out of it, especially if you made a mother, because the best vinegars come from, like the best sourdoughs, a mother that creates with, you put your old wine in it and it makes the vinegar. These are also terramenti, but I think Fotios got it too. And I think that's it. Is that it?
Yeah,
Demolished it.
it's all in there.
All in. I feel like it's poker.
Now we soup it up.
Look at that color.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Now, there was a district of Greece called Skorda. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
It was near Momnavasia.
Oh, okay.
It was run by the English, as of course Momnavasia produced the wine that the English couldn't pronounce, and they called it Malmsey wine.
Yeah.
And so they had the district around, and there was actually a Duke of Skorda, which I think is lovely. I would like to be the Duchess of Garlic.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, my wife is from Monevasia, and when we used to drive down there, I think I did see sign for Skorda.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I never knew the connection there.
Sometimes when Foti whispers in my ear, I think he's the Duke of Skorda.
Maybe when he whispers in your nose.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You know what the Greeks used to tell me when I lived in the village, and I love it. They said that one of their sayings was that if you notice someone else, if someone notices your breath, they haven't eaten properly.
Ah, there you
It's
go.
true. It's true. Look at that deep color.
That's all that's to it.
That's like in essence, that took you minutes.
Yeah, it's a few minutes, except for boiling the which
Wow.
but you can buy them already cooked. I didn't do that, but
I mean, I would never suggest it, but if you need to, yeah, it's okay.
you're in a hurry. I'm gonna do for you maybe next one I make with grape leaves
Ooh.
and feta.
Oh,
And that it's no cooking at all. I mean, it's just amazing. You can do it in 5 minutes.
Love it.
love it.
Trouble is, it doesn't take a whole hour. So it leaves me having to say a lot of history.
My gosh, that's beautiful looking.
So texture-wise, I can just tell.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
Yeah.
We have a company coming this weekend, kids,
There you go.
married kids, and I'm going to decorate it with some chives.
Mm.
You know how Greeks love
Mm-hmm.
any kind of onion.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
There you are. That's all that's to it.
So there's
Now
our
Huh?
dip.
Now I got 2 bowls of it, and it's time to sample.
There you go.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That looks so good.
It's hard to get good pita here, but I found it.
You know, there's so much to the Greek cuisine, and with offerings and dips. We're always prone to the classics, tzatziki and scordalia and meleja salata and tarama. But there's so much beyond that, and we always want to think of other ideas and options. And you bring such interesting approaches that still keeps it Greek, but keeps it very, interesting and fun and tasty.
Well, one of the wonderful things that's happening now is, as you know, there's a high unemployment. So a lot of the educated kids who thought they were going to, move on in some other field have gone back to their villages and are producing incredible agricultural products, cheeses and the infused oils and wines, as you know, and
Yes.
become winemakers. And
there's like a renaissance.
That's an interesting concept. Like there's certain things that trigger certain actions by the people, and certain results happen because of it, and it's interesting to think about.
Right. As Susanna is selfishly eating that on her own.
for yourself, I sent you the ingredients.
I'm kidding. Is that
Foti loves to throw people under the bus.
Is that obviously
Yeah, good.
something has to accompany these dips as a beverage. So with a dip like that has texture and structure, and the garlic adds another element of another layer of element, we can go either way. We can either go with a crisp white, which I'm having Moscofilero, but you can also have a red, or you can have white wine from Santorini that has a lot of minerality and acidity. The acidity in the white wine with Assyrtiko from Santorini or Moscofilero really plays and cuts into the garlic that's in this dip. Because when I had it, I tried it both with the white wine, and then I said, let's try red. When it comes to red, though, we really need to choose a lighter red that has high tannins, like Sinomavro, that actually, again, plays with the garlic. So the garlic and the olive oil are very important in the pairings. And if the wine lacks acidity or tannins, you're going to lose either the wine or you're going to lose the dip. So those are our two recommendations when pairing this lovely dish, or dip, I should say, with the wine of choice. So think about citrusy, acidic white wines, or light body with higher tannins for the reds.
Here's an important point that goes with that. That is, chickpeas were one of the snacks, because you never drink in Greece without having some food.
Mm-hmm.
One of the snacks at the very ancient days of the symposia, which we now think is a meeting where you talk or you bore yourself to death, perhaps, or you're doing a presentation, or whatever. But think of what it means. Sim means with. Posia is from poton. It means drink together. And it was the third segment of the meal, after the essentially hors d'oeuvres, after the many courses that considered the entree. The men went and, relaxing on lounges, not sitting up, had a symposia, a session where they drank and carried on. Alexander does some lovely descriptions of it, because his father, Philip, used to get so drunk, he claimed he could not perigonate, which means walk from one couch to the other. And so, and one of the snacks was roasted chickpeas. And I've got a recipe for roasted chickpeas in The Olive and the Caper.
I love that book. Olive and the Caper, people, if you have an opportunity, please check it out. It is an amazing, amazing cookbook, full of facts, full of recipes, full of everything good.
And so they would pop their chickpeas in their mouths. I told you they were very ancient. This is before they were known as, Cicero's peas. Maybe it led up to it, their discussions. But they would pop chickpeas and other little morsels, and they would drink fine Greek wine. And Foti will tell you, back then, of course, they would dilute it. But the pairing is perfect.
Yes.
They diluted it. Why? Because it was too alcoholic, or it was too.
It was from what my recollection is, wine was much stronger back then.
Yeah, I think that's I read that somewhere.
And they like to pace themselves, and they would dilute it so they can drink for longer periods. But
Yeah,
Suzanne,
they were drinking like all
and
night during like these like
another interesting fact, or should I say myth, that I came across is that the ancient Greeks had this thing about when they were at symposiums or they were at gatherings and they were having wine and food. In order to eliminate being intoxicated, they would hold an amethyst because the
Yeah.
amethyst would actually absorb all the alcohol, so they would not get drunk.
Well, think of the meaning. Think of the meaning of amethyst. Not. Meth is menos.
Yeah, I'm there. You
Not drunk.
did you,
That's-
did you know that?
that's-
Aaron?
is that oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what is the color of an amethyst?
It's purple.
Purple. So it would absorb. They would absorb the color and the toxins or the alcohol from the wine as you held it in your hand. It would keep. Now if that was BS or they were just, you're using it as an excuse to drink more.
I would suggest not trying amulets of any sort.
Well, I was going to suggest we should have an
Grandmother
amethyst
used to
wine
make her
party.
kids carry garlic to ward off illnesses, and I don't think that's going to work any better than an amethyst.
I think we should have amethyst parties.
But what the other thing, in terms of, for those of you who know Greek, is the real word for drink is poto or poton. But they drank it in ancient days in these two-handled cups. I don't have anything quite like it. No, I don't have anything quite like that. But they were like this. They were low and kind of low and flat, and they had two handles.
Yeah.
And those were called kraton. And from that, we get krasi.
Oh my gosh.
And then it got named, the drink got named for the vessel.
I
Which
see.
a lot like kakavian, for example, the fish stew. That really means the kettle. It doesn't mean the stew. And saganaki is the name of the little dish that the cheese is melted in, not the cheese.
Not the cheese.
Ah.
That's now that you've raised that point, Susanna. If you think about it, I always thought about the word for wine in Greek is inos,
Yes.
but we use the word krasi, and we always wondered like where did krasi come from? Was it used from another culture? But now you just clarified that for us.
Now, language changes, and it changes quite rapidly, as you can tell, say from Shakespeare. There's a lot in there that we don't understand anymore. So over the history of 3,000 to 4,000 years of Greek, it's changed a lot. And so funny little expressions, just as in English, like get over it, something like that.
Right.
That 20 years ago is like, suddenly they start calling it bring me a cup instead of bring me the wine.
Ah.
That's feta. Feta just means a slice, because feta was so popular, it was like pizza. So you went into a store and said, "Give me a slice," and it was sheep's cheese.
Well,
That's
now that you say that, Susanna. Now that you say that, Susanna, I always wondered when my parents just say, "Give me a feta psomi." I'm like, feta and psomi? Like, no, feta psomi. Give me a piece of bread.
Yeah, one slice.
Did you ever know that, Ari? I never.
No, I didn't know that. Why do you think I'm here, Foti? You think I'm here for like? I'm here to learn, and every time Susanna's on,
Yeah, but
I learn.
You can't learn this anywhere, can you?
No, that's why I'm here. I'm here.
I did. I'm a little kid from Denver.
You're doing big things, let me tell you.
Oh my God! Foti and I are Greek. We've always been Greek, just in case you didn't know. We've done so much in the Greek community, and like I constantly say to Foti, every time you're on with us, Susanna, I always say to Foti, all right, I learned something new, and that's probably it. I don't think I could learn anymore. I know everything. And every time you're on, Susanna, I learn so many new things, and it's fantastic. It's amazing.
Foti now knows that his birth and his being their son was not as important to his parents as sliced bread.
Oh man.
True, very true.
We're gonna take this information when we do our family gatherings, and we're gonna amaze everybody.
Oh my God, I love every time we do these segments and I learn something new, I am the first person to use it, to make myself like a big shot. Like, hey, did
Well,
you know this? And
well,
Susanna,
this is the reason why our folks that are watching, you need to continuously watch our sip and dip clips, or dips and sips. The information that's being provided here by Dr. Susanna Hoffman is in my opinion, unmatchable.
The doctor resident, Susanna Hoffman.
yeah, resident
Our resident chef, culinary expert,
DJ
uh,
Dr. Susanna.
this for us is an honor, because the information for us really resonates with the experience. And yeah, we can learn about wine and food, and you can demonstrate, and you can teach Ari how to make dips for his wife.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't work. It doesn't work that easily. I'm a hard learner.
The appreciation here is the whole combination of its roots, its history, and why things are today. And it really brings things into light of a different perspective. Like as Ari says, I continuously learn and appreciate things that I should have probably already known, being Greek American, right?
No, but you know what? You say you should have already known, but these aren't things that are like very easily learned. Like these are very like specific and very niche things, and Susanna always brings it, and I love it. It's like I love hearing all these things, and I love learning about it, and that I truly do appreciate that knowledge that she brings to these segments.
Yes, and and having said that, we're going to be really anxiously waiting for our next segment, which stay tuned. We're going to bring you a segment with Susanna on Greek olive oil. We're going to explore olive oil from the different parts of Greece. We're going to send a nice package to Susanna of different types of olive oils that I think that will also be eye-opening and will really change your views on olive oil, and that should have you appreciate it in a different light.
I don't know, Susanna, because I know everything about olive oil. So I don't know if you could teach me anything more. I think I know everything.
Do you know how you do an olive oil tasting?
No.
Okay, you don't swish water around and spit it in the olive oil into a vat. You clean your palate between the olive oils with a slice of apple and a piece of bread.
Mm.
All right, touche, Dr. Susanna Hoffman. I did not know that. You win this round.
I will tell you, one of the reasons I can do this is chickpeas can also be made into flour, and people in Greece use it a lot because a lot of times they couldn't get alevri, they couldn't get real flour, especially in hard times. And over in France, it was the same, and they made a little bread out of chickpea flour that was called a panis. And from that came the character that was very famous in the old Greek film, from which the restaurant Chez Panis took its name. And I was one of the first owners.
Really?
Yeah.
It keeps getting better. I mean, we need to save a lot of this for all the upcoming segment, because this is like really, priceless information.
I'm not even worried about getting information in our future segments. Susanna brings it, and we love it. And this was an amazing segment. I mean, the texture of that dip, I'm gonna make it. Well, yeah. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna have my wife.
Don't you dare.
Somebody's gonna make it for me, but like I want to taste this because it looks so good. The texture's so nice. The information you give us, Susanna, is so amazing. We appreciate everything you bring to these segments.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You do best.
Have a sip of wine.
I will. And send me some ouzo. I can always terrible ouzo here.
Oh no, I got you covered.
I
got you covered.
Foti, you need to send her the Greek American spirits.
Package, yes.
Give her everything.
We're going to send you a package, Susanna, of very well made, interesting spirits made by Greek Americans.
Mm, I'm ready.
Okay.
And
My cameraman drinks quite a bit of it too. So,
hey, you got to pay him somehow.
oh, I think I got that covered.
But not to shill too much, but like the Greek American Spirit Package, which is a real thing that we do, and it's amazing products available on our platform at Greek Wine Club and at Greekazon. So check it out if you are so interested.
And I have to tell you too, everybody, that I just tell Foti to send me a case of wine, and he picks the most amazing wine and ships it to me. I don't have to think about it. Wonderful Greek wines from Nemea, from Crete, from Santorini, Xenomavros, Algiogetikos, Asertikos, and it's a wonderful thing you do, Foti.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you appreciate it. Yes, absolutely.
No, Foti knows his stuff. Foti is like the resident. Well, he knows his stuff for a lot of people all over the country, but I'm just gonna say he's the resident of like everybody within our social circle. Can you imagine? Everybody who knows Foti is like, hey, Foti, tell us about this, tell us about that. He's always shipping wine. He's always giving people wine. He's always telling people about wine, and everybody has great things to say. Except for me, I don't know, Foti. I don't know. You're not that good. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it's just, you're one of those hard.
No, all my wine consumption is because of Foti, and he taught me so much about it.
Hey, Foti, is there such an expression as Barba Ari?
There is now. There is now. Barbari.
Barbari.
I like it. I like it. Well, there you have it.
Can I tell you a funny, quick story, Susanna?
Sure.
So I used to, when we were little, we had, all the Greeks in our neighborhood, and we used to call them Theo and Thea. Everybody who was Greek in the neighborhood was Theo and Thea. So there was one amazing Greek family that basically like my second family, and the dad was a barber. So everybody used to,
he was a Cordomenos.
yeah, exactly. So everybody used to call him the barber, right? So I used to call everybody Theo, and he was a barber. So I used to, and I would hear people call him Barba, and I would call him Theo Barba, and everybody would laugh. And I'd be like, why are they laughing? He's Uncle Barber. And I didn't know that Barba was like uncle in Greek. So I used to call him Theo, like uncle.
That's so funny. Barba.
Barba. We can't underestimate the importance of nicknames in the Greek culture.
Oh,
exactly.
That's a whole different segment in
It's
itself.
a whole different thing.
We should do one.
Huh?
We should do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
The origins of nicknames.
The Paratsukli. Well, because kids, for instance, the oldest son was named after the father's father, and the oldest daughter, depending on your area, the mother's mother or the father's mother, everybody in a village had the same name.
Correct.
Yeah.
So pretty soon they had to give them a different kind of distinction.
Yes.
Was what they did or what they looked or some joke they had played or, some characteristic or, Kutso Yummy, for example,
And it stuck for generations. Like you were part of that Parotsuki. That's so fun.
And they became last names often.
Really? Oh, man. Imagine that. Yeah, we should definitely do that. We should definitely do that for sure. We'll do a little bit of our own family research and kind of bring to the segment the Paratsuki.
Okay.
Excellent.
I have a baptistera. I have a goddaughter in Greece, and she's called Susanna.
Oh, is that her Paratsuki, Susanna?
It's her Paratsuki.
Oh my gosh.
So
there's only one Adi, the one man party though. So you just need to know that.
Well, you have a son now, so unfortunately, he's going to have to take that parotsukli.
Oh my gosh. Let me just say this. Susanna, thank you so much. We know you're busy. You're writing 4 books. I mean, I thought you would be writing 5 or 6, but you're only writing 4. But you're so busy. We appreciate your time.
Before you go, I want to show you one thing in my bedroom, right? This is to the inner sanctums. I want to show you my wall of Jewish mothers.
Let's see this.
You see it?
Oh wait, let me spotlight you. There you go. Oh wow.
Those are amazing.
That's my wall of Jewish mothers.
Oh my gosh.
Those look
so
like
cool.
Aren't those beauties?
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Susanna, are those vintage
Yes.
icons? Like what is the age on those?
Well, the one has got their village. This one with the beet and silver is older. It might be around 1600.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
You have that in a safe.
About 1800.
And look how they're holding up.
Yeah.
I take care of them.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, you keep them in a safe place because
They're good, I know.
So does elevation help with that, or is it worse for that?
Oh, it's worse.
It's worse.
I mean, you have to put lotion, even if you're a guy, on yourself after taking a shower from top to toe, or your skin starts falling off. Not really falling off, but you itch and you're dry and you crack and you get wrinkled and your hair is dry. And I have to put on foot cream or I get cracks in my heels. Our humidity got up to an amazing 22% yesterday.
Wow.
So,
imagine that, huh?
yeah, of course, but I grew up here.
So you're used to it, yeah.
I'm used to it. And New York drives me crazy. I can't stand it.
New York is a very unique place. Let's just say.
When it's hot and humid, I just die.
Yeah, Boston's the same way, and I think DC's the same way.
Yeah. Excellent.
But I have to say, Susanna, again, thank you so much. You're so busy. You have so much going on. You're doing so many things, but you join us for these segments, and we truly appreciate it. Everybody out there appreciates it. Whenever we post these segments, there's so much viewership, there's so much interaction, and we love it. And it's all because of what you bring to the table. And we love it. I said it once. I want to say thank you to Foti for everything that he brings to the table. Susanna, once again, thank you so much for everything you do for us. And the recipes are amazing. Her books are amazing. Please go to Greekazon. We have her books, her cookbooks on sale on Greekazon. We post this everywhere that we do our platforms. Urban Wine Club, Greek Wine Club, Greekazon. We want to thank you once again. And wait, hold on. Let me spotlight you.
This recipe's in this one.
Yes, the Bold cookbook. This is an amazing cookbook, I got to tell you, because she has so many great recipes. Actually, everything we've done so far with the Sips and Dips is from the Bold cookbook. You can find that on Greekazon, so definitely check it out. Her cookbooks are so good because it has information, it has history, it has everything that you find entertaining about these segments. It's in the book. Check it out if you can, please. And we want to thank everybody out there for listening, for watching. Everything's going to be posted. YouTube, app, podcast, everywhere. We'll have links to the book. We'll have links to everything that we do. Thank you so much, Susanna.
Thank you, Susanna. And stay tuned for our next one.
And Poti and I, thank you very much for having me. It's great for me to be able to go back and do this.
Oh, we love it. We absolutely loved it.
And we'll do it again very soon.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there.
Carlita.
Thank you, everybody out there, for watching, listening, streaming. We have all the information. Check it out. Dr. Susanna Hoffman, who, I sing to her, but she doesn't like it, so I didn't do it. I'm not going to do it now. I always sing "Oh Susanna," but she doesn't want it.
I don't care.
Okay. Oh Susanna. All right, that's all. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.